a comparison of two groups that pairs one item from each group. So when I say something is a relation, it just means that everybody has a partner. Everyone has a pair. Everyone has a partner. If I say something is and each one is like getting more specific, I guess, is the way to kind of see this progression. So a function is a relation. It's a type of relation where each value from first set of numbers is paired with exactly one number, I'm going to make a number sign, from second set. And the way we tell that is it must pass the vertical line test. And the vertical line test is when you take your pencil, like if you look at a function, you take your pencil vertically and you go from left to right. And if the function ever touches your pencil more than one time, then it is not a function. So just drawing wise, something like this would be a function, that's good, but something like this is not a function. Because if you imagine taking your pencil from left to right, it hits my pencil at more than one point. Like here and here. And a one-to-one function is it must pass vertical line test and horizontal line test. So there can be no repetition of x or y. For a function, there can be no repetition of y. No repetition of x, I'm sorry. So a function can have no repetition of x, a one-to-one can have no repetition of x or y. And a relation can have any repetition of anything. It just means everybody has a pair. So if you look at it, sometimes they'll give you ordered pairs and it asks you whether they're a function or not. And the top one is a function, the second one is not a function. And why is that? Like, what is the difference between the top and the bottom?
So one-to-one can't have y repetitions?
Right, so if I'm just saying like whether this is a function or not, I'm going to highlight all of my x's. If it's just saying function. I'm not asking one-to-one, I'm just asking function. So I'm going to highlight all of my x's. If they are all unique and different, then yes, because 1, 2, 4, 5, all different. For my second one, 1, 4, 4, 5, these two indicate that it's not a function because my x's repeat. I guess you could put that here. So you have 4 paired with 2 different y values. And if you were to graph that, here's my beautiful graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. If If you were to graph that, you've got a point at 4, 2 and a point at 4, 3. So that doesn't pass the vertical line test. So let's look at 2 through 6 and decide whether they are a function or not, and then also if they are one-to-one. So function means that no x's repeat, so no x's. And the one-to-one is no x's or y's repeat. So look at number 2. I'm going to circle my x's. What do I think? No. And if it's not a function, it's definitely not a one-to-one function. Like it can't be one-to-one, but then not a function. So I don't even need to check one-to-one. Okay, look at number 3. 3, 2, 0, negative 1, negative 3. Is it a function? Yes. Now, look at the y's. Negative 5, 0, negative 1, negative 2, 0. Uh-oh. So is it one-to-one? No, because the zeros repeat. So function, but not one-to-one. Number 4. This is looks a little bit weird, but these are my x's and these are my y's. It's called a mapping diagram. So like this ordered pair would be 0, 3. 2, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. So is this a function? Yes. Is it one-to-one? No. Because why? Right. Number 5, now we have a picture. So when we have a picture, we do the vertical line test and the horizontal line test. So take your pencil, drag it left to right. Take your pencil, drag it up to down, down to up, whichever way. If it ever crosses your pencil at more than one place, using the vertical line test, it's not a function. Horizontal line test, not one-to-one. So what do we think? Is it both? It is both, so let me kind of try to walk you through this. If I'm taking my pencil, here's my beautiful pencil. There we go. And I'm going all the way across. So I'm going here all the way. Does it ever touch my pencil at more than one place? No. Then horizontal line test. Here we go. I'm going to draw up. So I'm going to cross this. Does it ever cross my pencil horizontally at more than one place? And I think some people are getting stuck like right here thinking it might, but it doesn't. It's just like if it were zoomed in, you would be able to tell, but it just kind of gradually goes up and up and up and up and up.
So it has to be kind of a straight.
Mm-hmm. It has to be completely straight, and it would be very obvious. Okay, number 6. Vertical line test. Nope, because this. So not a function. Okay, that gives me some hope. So f is the name of the function, and it doesn't have to be f. It could be g, h. It could be any letter in the alphabet. It could even be a symbol if you wanted. It just is specifying that function, and then x is the variable that is inside. So those are the variables that you deal with, and you can substitute values for them. That's normally what we're going to use them for. So here is our f of x. We have x squared minus 2x. So in part A, f of negative 3 means I'm going to substitute negative 3 everywhere I see an x. And you're going to keep it in parentheses. So negative 3 squared minus 2 times negative 3. Which would be 9 plus 6, which gives me 15. make sure, the only thing I'm going to say is when you're substituting a number, put that number in parentheses always. Now, part B is when it gets a little trickier, and this may be what she's talking about that y'all have not seen before. Because when you're putting in a number, you're going to get a nice numerical answer. But when you're putting in another variable, that's where it gets a little bit trickier. So, now we're going to find f of 2x. So I'm going to take this 2x, and I'm going to substitute it. Instead of an x, it's now going to be a 2x. So I'm going to write it in parentheses like 2x squared minus 2 times 2x. Go and see what I did there. I just replaced the x with the 2x. Now I want to keep going. So 2x squared becomes what? Like, what is, when I evaluate this, it becomes what? 4x squared. Perfect. Big mistake that people make is they want to say that this is 2x squared, but it's not, because the 2 and the x are two separate terms, and it gets applied to both of them. Minus 4x. Okay, I want you to try D. So you're going to plug in negative x everywhere you see an x, and remember to put it in parentheses. See, it's not that bad. With E, what do you think I would do with E? Got a negative out in front.
You'd have to divide everything by -1.
So I'm just going to, yeah, you could divide everything by -1. I'm just going to put a negative out in front. Then I'm going to put my f of x in parentheses. So x squared minus 2x. So I'm just writing what it tells me, negative f of x, which then becomes negative x squared plus 2x. I'm just flipping the sign of every term. Okay, F, this is like the pre-AP question right here. I want you to try it. I'm going to put the answer. And then I want you to try it, see if you get the right answer. Check your work with your shoulder partner. All right, so questions about that one. Just remembering, when you have two terms in parentheses, you must FOIL, like so. It is not x squared plus 4. Do what? No, reading a graph. So here is my f of x now. And I want to read the function from the graph. So f of 0, what that means is I'm going to look at my graph, and what is the y value? So y question mark. What is the y value when my x is 0? So I'm going to go to my graph. I'm going to go to x equals 0. My y is at -2. Pretty simple. So I go to my x. What this is asking me is when x equals 0, what is y? On my beautiful function right here. So try f of 3. Just get -4. Oh, this is right. So I'm just going to go to x equals 3. Go down to where my function is. It's at -4. Now, f of 8 is here. I'm going to go up. There's nothing there. It's just outer space. If there is nothing there, then we say it does not exist. DNE, does not exist. Because there's no function there. It stops at 7. And then nothing in outer space.
So if for f of 3, 3 is the x,
Mhm.
So we just write the y.
Mhm. For D and E, they're different. Now it gives you the y and it wants you to find the x. So here, it gives you the y when y is 0, but it wants to know the x. When y is 0, I'm going to erase all this. When y is 0, like if I were to graph y equals 0, what would that look like? Is a y equals a horizontal line or a vertical line? Horizontal. Oof, it is horizontal. Y equals.
Wait, but across is 2.3.
3 points. So here's my y equals 0 line right here. It's at 1, 2, 3 x values. So I'm going to list them. -5, -3, and 6. So for part E, if y equals 4, what is my x? 7. Perfect. Okay, here's another picture. It says, is it a function? How do I tell if something's a function? I need to do the vertical line test. Good. So I'm take my pencil, draw across. Does it hit anywhere more than once? No. So yes, it is a function. X-intercepts. What does that mean?
Where it crosses the x-axis.
Where it crosses the x-axis. So what are my x-intercepts? Where does it cross the x-axis?
-2, 4, and 8.
-2, 4, and 8. Good. What about my y-intercepts, or 1? Good. Okay, I want you to try E through H on your own.
D included.
Oh, D included. Yep. D through H. Then check them with the person next to you. I'm going to give you 3 minutes.
Because the circle's open.
So an open circle, like if that were a closed circle, then I would say that it is -4. But that open circle means that there's nothing there. It doesn't exist in that open circle.
Wait, so it starts like right after the line? Or?
Like it approaches it and then it doesn't actually equal it, but it touches it. Okay, questions about D through H? Any ones that you want me to go over? Okay, try number 4 on your own. Gonna give you 3 more minutes.
Like a point.
So it's like, and this will come when you get to calculus or pre-cal, but essentially it's like they both are approaching it, but it skips a space. There's a hole there. We'll talk about whole second semester.
So for A, the reason it's not 1 and 3 is because 1 is an open
Yes,
circle.
open circle.
So it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't count. And then 0 is 1. -1, 4, and 8 for C, and then only 7 for D. So if there is a hole there, if it's an open circle, it doesn't count as an answer.